time to the good old days when the mama sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out. Wish we could turn back time to the good old days when the mama sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out. We're stressed out.
Hey, what's up, YouTubers? It's me, Brian. I just want to wish all of you a happy holidays. And with the year coming to an end, I've decided I'm going to do my top 10 games. Now, for this first one, I'm going to start off with the top 10 games on the PlayStation system. Excuse me. Oh, jeez. For the 2015, with the PS4 selling 30 million, I decided to take a look at some of these games that in my personal opinion, that I thought were really good this year and that I enjoyed this year for 2015. It may not be everyone's taste. I understand not everyone's going to share my opinion, share my view on this, but these are the ones I think that were good. Now, before we begin, two things I want to point out though. Number one, some of these games are multi-platform, so even if you don't own a PS4 or the PS4 is not your system of choice, some of these games can be available. I believe some of them are available on PC or available on the Xbox One. So if you don't have a PS4 and you're a PC gamer or a Xbox One gamer, I'm sure some of these multi-platforms you have seen, so it will be available on them. I'll try to point them out. Number two, before we begin the top 10, I want to give some honorable mention to some games that I didn't think they were the top 10, but I still think they were good nevertheless. Excuse me, coughing. And I think they're worth at least worth checking out. I'll start with the first one though. First one's going to be Earth Defense Force 4.1, The Shadow of New Despair. It's a niche game though, and it is a fun one, and I kind of like the humor and a little bit, or should I say the story. It's kind of like a throwback to like an old, like those old monster movies back in the day, or like those other old monster ones from Japan though. I also want to give a shout out to its counterpart to EDF, Earth Defense Force 2, Invaders from Planet Space, the Vita version as well. Both of these are worth taking a look at. Another game another honorable mention, Akiba Strip Undead and Undress. This is also another niche game though, and for a game that's fan service and all, it's actually kind of fun. I mean, yes, the story is odd. Basically, you're fighting against vampires, and the only way to beat them is to actually, believe it or not, you gotta strip their clothes off. So it's weird, but not in a negative way. And if you could deal with the fan service and the whole anime Oka stuff, then it's worth taking a look though. Okay, it is also on Vita and PS3, but this is mostly like the definitive version. It has all the DLCs and so on. So worth taking a look if you're into like niche games like the other ones I pointed out. Another honorable mention, Borderlands, the Handsome Collection though. I know there were a lot of remakes this year though, and I know some people kind of have their kind of mixed feelings about that though, but there are a few remakes I thought that were good. This one's very good as well. I mean, it has mostly all the DLCs. I think there was one that came out that I think you had to download though, but for the most part it's two games in one. So the pre-sequel and Borderlands 2, and Borderlands is one of the few FPS games I like out there though. Shame they didn't have put the first one in. That would have been nice though, but if you have either an Xbox One or a PS4, it's worth checking out. And if you like the Borderlands series, worth taking a look at though. Next one for the honorable mention is Dishonored Definitive Edition. Again, another remaster, but this one is also enjoyable as well, though. It's also has all the DLCs and everything, and it's a great way to catch up, especially when Dishonored 2 comes out next year. So, worth taking a look too. This is also available on Xbox One. And finally, last but certainly not least, Wastelanders 2 Director's Cut. Also available on Xbox One. This one's an interesting series because I never heard of it, but after doing some research about it, it's basically, this is where the idea of the Fallout series came from, though. It's a fun turn-based game, though. I mean, I'm not big on turn-based. Should I say, I'm not really that good. I mean, you could play it on easy, normal, hard, however you want to, though. But it is a very interesting game. I really do enjoy it, though. The gameplay is, like I said, it's a turn-based type, but it is an enjoyable one, so I would definitely take a look at this. Plus, this game was actually very successful on its Kickstarter, so I have to say good for them, and good that they brought this over to the PS4. Again, it's also available on Xbox One if you have that too. And of course, it's PC. It's also available, on PC as well. Okay, with those honorable mention games now out of the way, now we can begin my top 10 games that I thought that were released on the PlayStation system that I enjoyed, though, okay? We'll start with the first one, number 10, though, okay? Zombie Army Trilogy. Now, this series is sort of interesting. This is a game made by the same people who created the Sniper Elite series, though. What's also interesting is that this game was originally, I think the first 2 chapters were originally released as a DLC for the Sniper Elite V2 game. So, it's sort of interesting, and the 3rd chapter never was released. This one was basically, 3rd chapter was put into this game, though, and it's actually, I enjoyed it, though. I mean, you could play this as a single-player game, like I have. You can also play it in a co-op, sort of like a Left 4 Dead kind of approach, though. It does have the famous kill cameras from the Sniper Elite games, though, and I really like the style. It has sort of like that grindhouse look to it in a way, though. It's, and like I said, it's a grindhouse look, though, especially, and of course, zombies and Nazis. You also get to shoot a zombified Adolf Hitler. If you can't shoot the real Hitler, you could probably go with the zombified one. So, Zombie Army Trilogy is definitely my number 10, and it's worth taking a look at as well. Okay, next one is a niche game, but it's one I do enjoy, though. And it's called, if I am saying it correctly, right, if I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. Oni Nichiba Z2 Chaos, if I could put that up right here. With, shall I say, the most interesting, here's a game, with the most, shall we say, interesting CD cover or Blu-ray cover for the disc ever. Here it is. I will let you use your imagination for that one, all right? Again, it's another niche game, and what's interesting, this is a hack and slash type of a game. While it's not nearly as strong in terms of the hack and slash as, say, like a Devil May Cry or a God of War, it is actually fun, and there's a lot of content to keep you busy, though, in the game. So, if you like niche games and you don't mind, of course, the fan service in the game, it's worth taking a look, though. One thing I would like to point out is right here, if you picked up the Banana Split Edition, you kind of get a code for a costume, and I'll have a link up. I think one of the pictures is online. I'll have a link and show it to you, but let's just say, I should be shocked, but you know what? Haven't seen a lot of animes, haven't seen a lot of games. I'm really not. It's just, but at the same time, it's weird. I'll have a link on the description. You could take a look for yourself. Hopefully you could click on it. Though, if it's not there, I apologize, but it's it's just, you'll be like, is that a real costume? Seriously? So, again, but other than that, putting the fan service aside, fun hack and slash if you're into those type of games. So, number 9 on this one. Alright, number 8 is another hack and slash, and I'm going to go with this one, the, excuse me, Dragon Quest Heroes, the World Tree Woe, and the Bright Below. Long title, though. This is sort of made by the same folks who worked on the Dynasty Warriors games as well. and also by the same people who did the last year, and a personal favorite of mine on the Wii U, Hyrule Warriors, the same developers, Omega Force though. This one is sort of a little bit different though. It's still the same hack and slash, but in a way, it's almost a little bit like a tower defense. It's not the same like traditional Dynasty Warrior games you play where excuse me, you find like some of those little gate spots, or I think that's what they're called, to sort of shut down the flow of enemies coming in though. So it's a little bit different, but I like that in a way, and some of the Warrior games are good. And like Hyrule Warriors, this game also, I think, borrows certain elements from the the Dragon Quest series. So, and I really like that. I really like it takes a little bit of a spin on the of course the Warriors games, just like how Hyrule Warriors did last year. It took a little spin on it. So I definitely like those when it does that. So Dragon Quest Heroes is another fun game, so I would definitely recommend you take a look at that one. All right. We're at number 8. Okay, we're now at number 7, though. Number 7 is Mad Max, in my opinion. Now, movie license games have sort of a history, though. Unfortunately, not a great history, okay? Sometimes, most of the times, they tend to suck really badly. There are only a few that tend to break that mold. The Super Star Wars games, I think that's currently out. The first one currently out on download for the Vita and the PS4, though. Spider-Man 2, King Kong, believe it or not, and I'm going to add and also Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, and of course 2005's The Warriors from Rockstar, though. And I'm going to want to add this one to the list, though. I agree it's not a perfect game. It doesn't really do anything new. I wrote a review of it on Amazon.com. But as far as a movie license go, this is good. I mean, it plays well, and the combat's fun, even though it borrows elements from the Arkham series. And finally, I mean, it doesn't feel like a quick cash-in like those other movie license games. So definitely worth taking a look at. I mean, if you pick this one up, you won't feel like, oh, I've been ripped off like you did like other movie license games. So it's solid, and I enjoyed it as well. So Mad Max is number 7. All right. Now we're going on to the next one, number 6, DMC, Devil May Cry Definitive Edition. Now, this game in general is kind of controversial to some Devil May Cry fans, though. And in a way I can understand, but in another way I can understand taking a different approach to it. I mean, it's not the same Devil May Cry games that have come out before, especially the first and third one, which many fans consider those two to be the best in the series, though. But also at first, I was a little hesitant about getting this, but after playing it, I definitely, while it's not as good as the first and the third one, I've come to appreciate this title, and I've come to enjoy it for what it is. The story certainly is interesting, although in a way, if you play it though, you could kind of see the political message. Very much anti-Fox News, and which personally I'm glad. Fox News is a joke. They are a right-wing media that uses Fair and Balanced as a cover, really. So I know some people will not see it the same way as I do, but I certainly think the story is kind of interesting, though. And the combat's actually very fun. I mean, it's solid, though. I mean, maybe not to the level of the first and third one, but still enjoyable, though. So, I should have mentioned, both the Mad Max and this are available, I think, also on the Xbox One as well. So I would give that one a try also. And I think Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition's out. I had to look between which one I should do, and in the end, I chose this one to be my number 6 game for 2015. So, worth taking a look, and plus you also get all the DLCs, so that's definitely good. And of course, runs at 1080p 60 frames per second, so if that's a big concern, well, There you go. All right, we're halfway there. We're going now to number 5. And my number 5 game I'm going for is Darksider 2 Definitive Edition or Definitive Edition. Now, this series unfortunately has kind of a bit of a troubled history, though. After the second one came out, though, the publisher, THQ, filed for bankruptcy and pretty much bit the dust. And along with that came any hope for a third one. But earlier this year, however, a company called Nordic Games bought the rights to Darksiders, and earlier this year released this one here with all of its DLCs and running at a good 1080p. And even when it came out back in 2012, I remember playing it on the Wii U. It's a fun game. I mean, I understand there are some criticism to it. The fact that it doesn't really do anything new. And to some degree, you kind of point out like, oh, okay, this part feels like Zelda. This part feels like Maximo. This part feels like God of War. This part feels like Diablo. This part feels like Devil May Cry. Excuse me. But it's still a fun game, and I enjoyed it, though. I've played a couple hours of it, though. I played couple days. I played for a couple hours and so on, and it's still a fun game even to this day. I do hope this version does well enough that I would love to see a third one. I really think this series deserves another chance, though. So, my number 5 game, Darksider 2 Definitive or Definitive Edition. I'm just going to call it Definitive Edition. So, this one's also good. I would recommend you guys take a look at this one as well. All right, now we're going on to number 4. And the number 4 game I think deserves to be on the list is Just Cause 3. All right. I've played this for a couple, for like last couple of days and so on. And I have to say that while it's not perfect, I enjoy this game. With Mercenaries no longer, biting the dust after what EA pulled with it, though, I'm in the mood for another Mercenary game, and I think this one fills the gap, though. It is definitely over the top, but you know what? That's fine. Nothing's wrong with playing an open world game with mindless destruction, and like I said, in one of my reviews, and I'll have the link with it, I like the fact that the game gives you the opportunity to, quote, approach the situation however you want to approach it. Though you could approach it, conserving your ammo, you could approach it going gun-ho, any way you want to do it. So I really like that, though, and I would say Just Cause 3 is my number 4 game on my list of 2015. All right, now on to number 3. All right, number 3, this might be a shocker for some because it won Game of the Year, but I choose to make it the number 3 on this list, though. I know it's not everyone's going to agree with me on this, but this is my opinion, though, so there we go. Number 3, The Witcher 3. Now, this one, from the combat to the gameplay, The Witcher 3 is not only a fun game, but I have to say, I have respect for CD Projekt Red for what they did. And the reason why I have some respect for them is the fact that they didn't act like, at least for this game, though, they didn't act like greedy little bastards, unlike some companies do. We got free content, free update, though, and they handled that very well, okay? And I definitely enjoyed the game. I love the gameplay, I love the story, kind of a little bit, but again, this is me, though, but kind of a Game of Thrones kind of approach, but still, definitely an enjoyable and fun game, and one worthy to add to your list, though. I also forgot, Just Cause and Darksiders are also available on Xbox One, so definitely pick this up, though, with your system of choice, though. Alright, next one on the list, number 2, is going to be Fallout 4. Now, this is a game the game was sort of hype, and that can set the game up to fail miserably, but I feel Fallout 4 was definitely an improvement over Fallout 3. The gunplay is definitely improved, and the game looks definitely better. I do think there's some areas for improvement, though. I will agree some of the criticism is some of the bugs and glitches, but so far the ones I've run into have not crashed my game or has done anything bad. And I do think they released a certain update for it, but overall, I love the fact that the game, again, gives you the freedom to go however you want it to go. You can approach it in any kind of situation you want to approach it. I love the fact you can complete one set of a storyline, then complete another set of a storyline, though. And the combat is fun, and I definitely enjoy it. So Fallout 4 is definitely on the list as number 2. A little side note I want to give for both this and this right here. It has come to my attention, and this is something I just recently learned, is the fact that you could play these 2 games and you can engage in multiple relationships, though. Now, this is kind of interesting to me in some degree, though, okay? Now, without sounding a little political or anything like that, and I'm not trying to cause a controversy, I know some people will look at it that way. I'm a person who believes that marriage is between 2 adults over the age of 18, regardless of whether you're straight or gay, okay? That's what I believe in. That said, while I find the fact that you can engage in multiple relationships interesting, I'm not against it, okay? I'm not going to don't think it's a big deal, as big of a deal. The reason why I find it interesting is that correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in games like Mass Effect and Dragon Age, you can only engage in one relationship where, like I said, Fallout 4 and Witcher 3, you can engage in multiple relationships. So that's sort of interesting, though, okay? Again, it's not a big of a deal. It doesn't, impact my life or anything like that. I'm not trying to pull an SJW or anything like that. I just find it fascinating that developers will allow you to engage in multiple relationships in these 2 games, but in other games, you can only engage in one kind of relationship. So it's sort of interesting, though. That's all I can say, okay? Again, not trying to sound political. I just find it a bit interesting, though. All right, with that out of the way, let's get to our number 1 game, or at least my number 1 game for the PlayStation system of 2015. And the number 1 game for me is Bloodborne. This is definitely one of the funnest games I've had, and it's also hard as hell. Okay? Anybody who has played a Dark Souls or the Demon Souls game is going to know what I mean. I mean, what I like about it is besides the controls, I love the Victoria setting. I love the fact that I feel like the game has sort of that Resident Evil 4 vibe, though. I like that whole gothic and dark setting, though. The game controls great, and the combat, I also find the game not only controls great, but I find it controls better than the last Demons and the last 2 Dark Souls games. However, as good as the game, I do enjoy the game, but be prepared to get frustrated a lot, because you will die a lot. Just like in Demon Souls, just like in Dark Souls 1 and 2, you will die. So this is a game, it's my number 1 pick, but it's also a game I would say you better have the patience, though. You have to have a lot of patience, though. So, number 1 game for 2015 for me is Bloodborne. Alright, so that concludes my top 10 games for 2015 on the PlayStation system. Alright, and like I said, that is my opinion and my thoughts about it, including the relationship one, the multiple relationships for Fallout 4 and Witcher 3. But what's yours? Do you agree with my top 10 list? Do you think some games should have been in a different spot or anything like that? Do you think any of the ones that I honorably mentioned should have been on the list? Or are you okay with what I wrote on the list? And do you agree with my position, or do you agree with where I stand on the whole multiple relationships with both Fallout 4 and Witcher 3 Wild Hunt? Or do you disagree, or do you have a different take, or you really just don't care? As always, I hope you like the videos. If you do, hit the like button. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Agree, disagree with my list or some of the stuff I said, though. And of course, I hope you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right? So that concludes the PlayStation one. I will be working on one for the Nintendo one. It's going to be a little difficult, but I'm going to try to get to that one as soon as possible, though. But I will do a top. Hopefully, I'm going to try to see if I could do a top 10 one for the Nintendo system as well. But in either case, I want to wish everyone a happy holidays, and hopefully you agree with what I made as my top 10. If you know, that's fine. Tell me what you think. And like I said, have a safe and happy holidays to everyone. All right? Bye.
Wish we could turn back time to the good old days when the mama sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out.
Used to play pretend, bunny. We used to play pretend, wake up, you need the money. Used to play pretend, bunny. We used to play pretend, wake up, you need the money. Used to play pretend, give each other different names. We would build a rocket ship and then we fly far away. Used to dream of outer space, but now they're laughing at the face, saying, wake up, you need to make money.